Hi everyone, we're still live from Miami at the ETF conference. As a reminder, today's interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE does not recommend investments or investment strategies. I'm joined now by Matt Lewis. Now, Matt is the head of capital markets of ETFs for both American Century and Avantis. Matt, you have a bit of a unique role here, and I know some of your conversations have been a little different than just ETFs. You're talking liquidity.
Yes. So, here, lots of ideas out there about investment strategies, about products and so forth. And, what I like to just remind advisors of is that, they look at a product, they get to know the product, they do their due diligence, they talk to the investment teams, they do a lot of work to make that decision that that's the right product for them and for their portfolio and for their clients. And where I encourage them is that when they go to the screens and look at the volume, just remember that volume is what's just been traded. It's not what could have been traded. And there's resources out there for them and that can help them with their implementation strategy around accessing an ETF that might be having a little bit lower volume. Remember, volume is just volume. It's not the liquidity of the ETF.
That's right, and we spent a lot of time at the New York Stock Exchange, of course, talking about and focusing on liquidity, but at the end of the day, the ETF's trading, but it's the underlying holdings, of course, driving the liquidity.
That's right.
So your team focuses on that. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so I do have a team of individuals that monitors the market. We engage with the authorized participants and the market makers, including our lead market makers, ensuring that the spreads are as adequate, reflect the true cost of the underlying securities, and hopefully be tighter, of course. But it's that liquidity of the underlying that sort of just drives, is that basis of the liquidity of the ETF. And that can be accessed for an advisor, but the best way to do that is use the resources that they have at their custodial platforms.
Yeah, talk about the tools. What are the tools?
The institutional block desks. I mean, that's number one. Get to know the institutional block desks. There are resources there for the advisors. They can walk them through how best to access them so that they can then use and see the trades and make sure that the advisor is getting as efficient trade as possible in the ETF that they want to purchase and use in allocations.
And of course, if you're an advisor working with American Century or Avantis, you could reach out to your salesperson.
Yeah.
They'll contact the advisor with you guys.
That's correct. Just reach out to our sales individuals. If you want to have a deeper discussion around volume trading, the ecosystem of the ETF, ask them to talk to your capital markets team. I'm always available to help clients through those conversations and engage with them about that.
Yeah, and of course, there's a lot of liquidity learning sections on etfcentral.com under ETFU, ETF University. You can find a lot there. As a reminder, though, Matt, like if you're an advisor that's checking in, they missed it, is there a great way to reach you or your team?
Sure. Again, it's just going to your American Century Avantis representative. You know who they are, certainly, and say, I want to talk to your capital markets group and or capital markets representative, and they will reach out to me and we'll set up a meeting and have a discussion.
Sounds good. Matt, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for joining in for another episode of The Exchange, all brought to you from Miami, Florida at the Exchange Conference, and of course brought to you by the home of ETFs.
Thank you, Dan.